Every year, most of us big game hunters put in the application to be able to draw a tag to hunt that one unit or that one animal that is just a dream hunt. My birthday is 2/17/77. This year it happened to be 2/17/17. And as I was applying for all the tags that I normally apply for, I said to myself, there's a whole lot of sevens in those dates. Something lucky's going to happen this year. Wait a minute. There's a tag in here. What the heck? You gotta be kidding me. A sheep tag? Holy crap. 7 years to draw a sheep tag. Yeah, you heard that right. After 7 years of applying, we finally drew a sheep tag for Southern Colorado. So now the decision, do I hire an outfitter or do I go on my own? If I hire an outfitter, he has detailed knowledge of where sheep like to be, where they like to hang out in different seasons and in different weather conditions. I think I'm going to do this on my own, the hard way. That means I'm going to have to learn the country. I'm going to have to learn the sheep. I'm going to have to do a whole lot of scouting any way I can. So the work begins now. I heard it said once that hunters were just explorers. And what's the biggest representation of exploration? Maps, of course. And going on a hunt to an area that you've never been to, the first step in the process of trying to find not only the sheep, but your way around everything is to start picking up maps and looking at the country and trying to figure out where it is that you want to go, where it is that you want to start looking for sheep. Well, it was a year ago. We were sitting in a small airport in Alaska waiting to get dropped off to go hunt moose and caribou. Well, this year we're sitting in a small airport waiting for a pilot to get here so we can go scout the Sangre de Cristos and look for access points to get close to these sheep. And you know, you can stare at maps, you can stare at Google Earth, you can even put boots on the ground. But another great way to learn the country, hey, if you can find a pilot, fly around and check it out from the air. I've always said that adventure isn't an adventure unless there's some sort of element of you might not make it out, you might not make it home alive in one piece. And flying around in a tiny little tin can that only does 100 miles an hour really takes that to the complete next level. I mean, this plane I think was made in the 60s. The upkeep on it is great, and they do a good job of maintaining it, but it's still a little nerve-wracking just above the Rockies in a little tiny tin can. You know, after staring at maps forever, Google Earth almost daily, getting in this little tin can and flying around just above the peaks of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, I think has helped tremendously in the respect of being able to access one drainage over a mountain pass into another drainage without having to worry about risking life and limb of going over a cliff somewhere or going up to the top of a mountain and not being able to access the other side. So this little airplane ride, I'm not looking for sheep. I could care less about finding sheep from the air.
What I'm looking for is passes, ways to access different areas without having to risk life and limb too much. I'll tell you what, it sure is beautiful up here. So as I mentioned, we're not using the plane to look for sheep directly. I know there's sheep all over the Sangre de Cristos. We're using the plane to look for sheepy habitat, sheepy type country, and an area where we can set up a base camp and yet still access as much of that country as possible. And I think this plane is really helping narrow down the field as to where we might want to concentrate our efforts into. So we just got done flying the Sangre de Cristos, where we're going to be sheep hunting. And I'll tell you, it helped a ton. An area that I thought I wanted to get into and I wanted to spend a lot of time in, well, I'm not so sure now. There's another area that I've had my eye on, but I wasn't so sure about. But now, I think next weekend I'm going to spend 3 days up in there scouting with boots on the ground, more so than this other area. And the plane really helped with being able to see how to get into an area, how to access it, how to access another drainage from that drainage, and what it all looks like, and just where sheep might be holding. You know, when you hunt an animal, you're not hunting the animal, you're hunting habitat, you're hunting a terrain, you're hunting stuff that looks like it would hold the animal that you're looking for. So being able to see it from satellite imagery, from, you know, maps, that's one thing, but actually seeing it from a plane only a few hundred feet above, well, that just narrowed down the field big time. And I can't wait to put boots on the ground in this new area that I just found. So you can stare at maps, you can stare at Google Earth, but you don't know what an area is like until you actually put boots on the ground and get out there and explore it. You know, hunting an animal you've never hunted before is one thing, but hunting in an area you've never hunted before is something, it's a big piece of the puzzle that, you know, you really got to figure out way before season ever starts. So that's what we're doing. It's mid-July. We're headed down to the Sangre de Cristos. We're not only going to look for sheep, but we're going to learn this country, and it's going to take us some time. Part of hunting and finding an animal is learning your surroundings, learning everything about where you're at. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend a lot of time down there this summer checking out the Sangre de Cristos. Been in this area. Heck, I've never really been in the high country down here in the Sangre de Cristos. until I decided to draw a sheep tag. And when you draw a sheep tag for an area you've never been to, well, the first thing to do is get as many maps as you possibly can. And then you start staring at Google Earth. And then you start thinking, oh, I can access this drainage from that drainage. I tell you what, once you get up into the country, it's a lot different than it looks on Google Earth or any maps or anything like that. It's a lot of fun though. We're seeing sheep. Couple here, couple there. So 3 weeks ago, we did a scout mission up a drainage on the other side of the mountain. And it took me 5 hours to do 8 miles one way. Well, this drainage is the worst, nastiest, roughest drainage I've ever been up. The trail is unbelievably unimproved. We're bushwhacking majority of the way, and then the trail just dead ends. So for the last 2 miles, there's literally been nothing but bushwhacking. It's taken us probably 10 hours to do 6 miles. And the only reason I'm stopping, my partner, he's done. My scout buddy, he's out. So we're gonna get up early and finish the rest of the 2 miles and spend a couple days up here in some really rough country. I don't think there's anybody else coming up in here because it is nasty. Yeah, it's hell getting in here. Somebody told me about this place and said that nobody hunts it because it's so dang tough to get up in there. But they were chasing sheep in here last year, and well, I was kind of worried because I was looking all day and I ain't seen nothing till we just heard some rocks roll down the hill, and I put the spotting scope up there, and there's a nice 3/4 curl ram. He's not huge, but at least he's a nice 3/4, and I feel a little better now. So let's keep looking for some more. All right, I've had enough scouting around. I'm feeling pretty confident and pretty comfortable with the location and the area that we've chosen to really focus our efforts in looking for sheep. So it's time to pack up the llamas and head on up the mountain. I've been hunting with llamas for quite some time. I think they're a lot of fun to hunt with. They can pack a bit of gear. They're really low maintenance, and they can get into areas where horses can't get to. And not only that, they're really great guard animals. I can stake them out and camp at night. If something wanders into camp, they let me know about it. I don't have to worry about babying them like I do horses. And not only that, if I'm hunting alone and a horse steps wrong and I go falling out of a saddle, I could be in for a world of hurt. With llamas, I don't have to worry about that at all. Having llamas to be able to carry a little extra additional weight, it really helps with being able to have a nice, comfortable camp. If we're in there 11 miles and we want to stay for 10 days, it's nice to know that you can have decent food, you can have a decent shelter, and a really nice wood-burning stove. And these llamas, just that little bit of extra ability to carry a little bit of extra weight and be able to help get to an animal in a steep, rough, rugged, high country. Yeah, I really like hunting with llamas.
Cloudy with a 10% chance of thunderstorms.
So we decided to take a break here once we got up on this ridge.
With a 30% chance of thunderstorms.
Up there in that drainage is where we're going.
Upper 70s.
And right above it,
Wednesday night, mostly
That storm's producing thunder.
Thunderstorms.
So I just turned on the radio,
In the lower to mid 40s.
and they're calling for thunderstorms every afternoon.
Chance of thunderstorms.
I don't know if you can hear it, but
Mid to upper 70s.
one of the biggest dangers in the mountain,
Partly cloudy. Lows in the lower to
thunder and
mid 40s.
lightning.
Friday, mostly sunny. Highs
You don't wanna
in the
get
mid to
caught.
upper 70s.
On a hillside
At noon,
when there's
Alabama,
thunder and lightning around out
sunny,
here.
71
We might
degrees.
set up camp. We're in 6 miles.
And the relative
We got another 4 miles to
35%.
go,
The
maybe
wind
5
was
miles.
variable at 5 miles an hour.
And I think we might just hang tight here for a minute
30.38 inches
and see what that does.
Around the state, Del Norte, fair, 70 degrees. Saguache, sunny, 70 degrees.
This is what you call a hunter's flat tire. This guy, I don't think is in shape. We only got 3/10 of a mile left to go in this straight up and down country. And he keeps crapping out. So we'll give him his time. Tell you what, 11 miles on the ground, a day and a half to get up in here. We'd have done it in a day, but these llamas, well, it was a little rough. This last 2 miles was straight up, and several times these llamas had to sit down and lay down and do nothing. Well, it's 1:30, second day, and I'm ready to look for some sheep. Let's see if we can go find some in these steep ass cliffs. let's take a look at the game plan for today. So I have Google Earth on my computer at home, and I've got some pictures on my GPS. We're camped up here. We're gonna hunt this drainage over here. So instead of going over the mountain, we're gonna hike this around here, stay above tree line, see what we can find there. Yeah, that looks good. First thing this morning we snuck in here and it was just getting daylight, and this drainage up in here, gorgeous looking drainage. And I mean, there's sheep poop everywhere, there's water, there's feed, there's high cliffs for them to hang in. We didn't see nothing, which I guess is hunting. Well, I'm looking at this crack that goes over this ridge to the next drainage, and we were thinking about going over it. I'm glad we didn't decide to try and make it, because no way, that's way too steep. We're gonna have to find a new way into that drainage. You know, being a hunter is kind of being an explorer. You want to know what's over the next ridge. Let's find another way in there. Well, we hiked up here. I think we're about 12,000 feet. There's a big bench up here behind me. We could not see from down a little bit lower, so we hiked up here to see what was up here. Well, I think we're just gonna have to check out another basin. A week ago we seen sheep in here. We ain't seen nothing for sheep in here this week. But getting in a lot better shape, that's for sure. Climbing up these mountains ain't easy. It's fun. It's pretty. Leaves are changing. Let's see if we can find some more sheep. Six, 8 months ago, when I drew this tag, I knew I had to get in better shape than I already am. So I started working out. And I'll tell you what, it paid. I had a feeling there wasn't going to be any sheep up in here, but I think we decided just to come up here and check anyway, just for the heck of it. And I actually feel pretty good. And if you're going to hump, I mean, we are up here at over 12,000 feet right now. You better be in shape. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to see a great view like that. And hopefully sheep. You know, if we get to squeeze the trigger on one, that's just the icing on the cake. But it sure is pretty up here. One thing you don't want to get is stuck on top of the mountain in a thunderstorm. I'm sure you can hear the rain behind me in the tent. Well, when we got here, we walked into that tent and it started thunder and lightning and raining. We made it here just in time. 4:30 in the morning. It's frosty outside. So before we leave, breakfast and coffee by a warm fire.
I will always remember the minute that you took my hand. Got me almost believing I was a good man. While I was sleeping, an evil I don't understand. All I know is I'm keeping a gun in my hand. The devil always takes the dream. I don't know where the story ends.
So we left camp this morning before dark. It took us an hour and a half to get in here. Right now we're sitting at 12,250 feet up above this drainage. And this is turning out to be the toughest hunt I've ever had to do. And it's not so much the physical aspect, but the mental aspect. We have not seen a single sheep yet. And we seen them in here a week ago. I don't know why we're not seeing them now, but it's getting tough. But we'll just keep plugging. They're around here somewhere. Hear that rumbling in the background? Thunder and lightning every afternoon. Really puts a damper on how much you can hunt. I mean, we head out, and then shortly after we got to head back, because, well, you don't want to get caught in the high country with thunder and lightning all around. So we'll fuel up with some good old Mountain House. Hit the trail before daybreak. See what's over the next ridge. sheep in a decent spot. Only problem is they're in that drainage way over there. Our camp is in the drainage on the other side of this mountain. So we're gonna have to hump over there, pack up the llamas, pack up camp, take them down off of this steep mountain and try and make our way up through there. I know I can do it. The only thing I'm concerned about is my llamas. So let's pack them up and see if we can make it. We gotta get on these sheep though. This morning we spotted 5 rams in this basin, so we ran back to camp, packed up everything, shot over here. It is now 4:30, 5.5 miles later. We just got spike camp set up, put the llamas up. We're gonna hike up to this ridge and see if we can locate these 5 different rams that we seen up in here. And well, it's a big basin. Wind's blowing. Afternoon storms are about to roll in. At this point in time, I don't care. It's 4th inning. No, I'm sorry, 4th quarter. We're playing football. We're getting ready to punt. We got 2 days left of this hunt. We gotta make it happen. Let's do this. There. But they're only half curl. They're not even actually, I don't think they're even half. Nothing legal, nothing we even want to go after. We got a lot of country to keep picking apart here, so let's keep looking. So this morning, about 5 miles that way in another basin, we could see 5 sheep over here in this basin. and we hadn't seen anything over there in 4 different basins in 5 days. So we decided, since we've seen these 5 rams, to pick up and hike 5 miles over to this area. And well, those 5 rams that we saw this morning, we just relocated them, and it's starting to feel like we're hunting and not just camping, thank God. So we're gonna put these rams to bed because it's getting late. They're starting to feed up the mountain. I want to see what they do. We'll be back here first light and relocate them, and we'll have all day to make a move on them. Let's watch these guys. Went to sleep last night to a lot of rain and a lot of wind. Woke up this morning at 4 o'clock, stuck my head out the tent, and the fog was so thick I couldn't see my llama 10 feet from me. So rolled around, went back to bed for a minute, got up. There's snow in the peaks up there. That's where the sheep are. We put them to bed last night. Let's see if we can go relocate them and put a stalk on. Finally, after what seems like an eternity of scout mission after scout mission, flying around in a tiny little tin can and hunting for days on end without seeing anything, we've finally spotted the sheep that we've been looking for. The only problem is they're in a really tough position to be able to make a move with the light fading as fast as it is. They're in a position where I can get a shot off. I feel comfortable shooting at this distance. Getting any type of video footage of where their position is almost impossible, considering the sun is right behind them. I can barely see them looking through my scope. But it's the last day, the last hour, and well, it's time to punt. Sometimes when you pull the handle on that slot machine, it doesn't always come out the way you hope. I am forever and always will be haunted by what just ran over that ridge and disappeared into the sun. And after many hours in the gym, many miles of scout mission, and even flying around in a tiny little tin can, I'm now walking out of the bush empty-handed. I'll be leaving this mountain with only memories. Memories of all the time, effort, and energy that was spent doing something that we call hunting. Everybody has that sport that they pursue aggressively. most sports have some sort of beginning and some sort of end, a finish line, if you will. Hunting, there is no real finish line. There's a quarry, there's a pursuit, there's a challenge, not just of getting close to the animal that you're pursuing, but the challenge of overcoming the mountains, the challenge of overcoming the terrain, the challenge of overcoming adverse weather conditions, and being able to withstand all that physically and mentally. I've always said that, to me, it's not a hunt unless there's an element of you might not make it home, you might not make it back, and you might not make it out of that situation alive. In sheep hunting, this hunt has completely taken this whole feeling to the next level. Will I ever do it again? You're darn right I'll be back. Hopefully I'll be able to draw a sheep tag again someday. If not, there's still goat, there's moose, there's bear, there's elk, there's high country deer. But I'll be back in the mountains for sure again. It's who I am, and it's what we do as hunters.